What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing my long-anticipated LEGO Captain America the Winter Soldier custom minifigure showcase video. And for this video, I've got Captain America in his new stealth suit, Steve Rogers, the Winter Soldier himself, Bucky Barnes, Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow, and the newly introduced Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, all of which I have been working on since November just to make sure that they would be done for tonight's release at 8:30, and I cannot believe how fast the Winter Soldier has already come up. But then again, that's why I did start on all four of these figures way back in November, just to make sure that time wouldn't be able to creep up on me yet again, and that they would be ready for tonight. And here they are. So I know you guys in the UK and Ireland have already received the film. Marvel loves you guys more than us, and therefore we have yet to see the film. So if you'd be so kind to just leave the comment section spoiler free, at least for the next week, I hope that'd be awesome. That'd be very much appreciated, as I've already been spoiled by, I think, two major plot points for the film, which I'm not really happy about, but I'll still enjoy it regardless, as this film is said to be the best standalone film of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And salute goes out to Anthony Russo and Joe Russo, who directed the film, as it really sounds like, I have yet to see it, but it really sounds like they've made a real true Marvel masterpiece. And that's why I am really looking forward to the film, and made these four minifigures to celebrate the film right at the peak of the film's anticipation, which is today. And yeah, guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at all four of these LEGO fully painted custom Captain America the Winter Soldier minifigures. Alright, so we're going to start off with Captain America in his new stealth suit, and right off the bat, you will notice that he does have a fully painted head. All of these minifigures are fully 100% painted by me, aside from a couple shield symbols on Captain America's and Black Widow's right arms. And yeah, so his head, like I said, is fully painted, and it was not easy to do. It took me over 8 hours of on and off work one day, when I just really, this entire head was a blank dark blue head. I mean, so pretty much I painted on literally everything you see on his head. And yeah, so you'll also notice that he does have the blue stealth shield, and this shield I assume will not be used very much in the movie at all, but it is still pretty cool, and I wanted to make it given that it is new and never before seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it does have the sort of like very light metallic blue color with the dark blue in the center as usual, with a battle damage effect, which is always necessary for Captain America shields if you ask me. So I do have the battle damage and wear and tear effect on his new blue shield. And then you'll also notice that he does have a fully painted torso, and the fully painted torso wasn't easy either, especially toward the lower area of his torso. Not easy to do this torso, and you'll notice that within the star there in the center of his torso, he has various little streaks of black to make sure this looks as accurate as I can get it. And then the back of the torso is pretty much a continuation of the front, with these straps continuing all the way over the top of the torso and then down over the back here, concluding in with buckles that you can see on this, sort of like gunmetal mainframe that the shield does attach to. And yeah, so then you also have a little bit of detail on the back of the belt as well. Accessories for my custom Captain America include this battle damage shield as well. He does have two shields that I made for him, this one being just a very basic Captain America shield, and all I did was add a really heavy amount of battle damage to it, and I'm really happy with this one, as well as, I mean, in the film, he's not going to be using the blue shield all that much, so I wanted to be sure that he had his signature shield as well, with a little bit of wear and tear. And then some other accessories that he has are these glove tops. These are actually tiny tactical accessories, and pretty much what they do is they serve as like glove tops. They pretty much you put them around your minifigure's wrists, and they make the minifigure look like they're wearing gloves. And I really wanted to do that for my Captain America and Falcon, and you'll see Falcon in just a few minutes here. But they are painted by me, regardless of how awesome and amazing the design is by Tiny Tactical. This new stealth suit that he'll be wearing in the film for some scenes really doesn't offer a whole lot going on in the legs, but I did add what I thought was necessary and accurate to his appearance in the film, and as you can see, that includes some black shapes here and there, along with some detail for his knees and fully painted boots. His arms have a pretty fair amount of detail, that being the continuation of the wings that we see on the torso going over on top of his arms, with various little black lines that you'll see within them, also on the back, sort of looking like vents almost, even though they're not. And you even have a fully painted American flag, which is super small and was pretty hard to do. So fully painted American flag on his left arm, and then a decaled shield symbol on the right. And that is, like I said, one of the only two things decaled about all of these figures in their entirety. As you already saw in the thumbnail, he does have his own unique painted face, and I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I tried to make it look as close to Chris Evans as possible. This face, like I said, fully painted. That includes the eyes, eyebrows, mouth, cheekbone marks, all of it's painted, and I'm really happy with its results. But other than that, that's pretty much it for Steve in his new stealth suit that he looks like he'll barely even wear in the movie, but still I wanted to make it because it is pretty awesome and my favorite suit that we've seen him wear in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And of course, we've got Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier himself, and man, I'm really looking forward to that one scene where Steve Rogers finally finds out that his best friend has survived 70 years later with him and is out to kill him as a brainwashed assassin. Going to be amazing, but that's why... excuse me. That's why I wanted to make this minifigure of the Winter Soldier, and you'll notice that he does have a fully painted head, and this fully painted head, I tried to make the eyes look as menacing as I could get them, and I'm really happy with the way they turned out overall. And then he does have all these various different gray details and aspects that are accurate to his mask that he will be wearing throughout the film, and it's definitely pretty awesome. His metallic arm is something that I had planned right from the start, and this metallic arm is using a LEGO official chrome arm, and I did not want to use any sort of light bluish gray or gray arm. I wanted this to be chrome and metallic and shiny and badass for the Winter Soldier, and in doing so, you'll notice that it does sacrifice, you know, being able to see all of the various different individual little lines that I painted on that were really intricate to do, but that's something I was willing to sacrifice even though, you know, you can still see them. It's just from certain angles it can be pretty tough, but I still wanted to use a chrome arm as it looks really awesome, especially for the Winter Soldier. And he also has the little red star on the very top of his shoulder there, which is outlined in black, and then there is even some detail painted onto his hand, which is definitely pretty awesome, and I'm shaking the base quite a bit. I apologize for that, but yeah, that is all sealed on there, and it looks pretty awesome, and it wasn't easy to do either, but yeah. And then tiny tactical accessories that I included with this minifigure, you'll notice that from Tiny Tactical, he's got 4 pouches on his belt there, as accurate to his appearance in the film, and his utility belt, and then his weapon, we've seen him, it looks like in the film he'll be using an assault rifle with a hollow sight and grenade launcher quite a bit in the film, at least for a few scenes, and it looks like he'll be using it a lot, so I wanted to make sure that was the very weapon that I gave him, and Tiny Tactical can provide the weapons and the accessories to do a lot more than just this, but it's definitely really awesome and a great and appropriate weapon for the Winter Soldier, given that he does use quite a bit of assault rifles and grenade launchers and snipers and God knows what else in the film. But yeah, Bucky's torso is pretty awesome, as it does actually have some three-dimensional straps. These straps, while they are painted on, they do actually pop out a little bit, and that's definitely a pretty awesome factor. But aside from a lot of different lining and bolts and buckles and things like that, it's a pretty basic looking torso, but definitely gets the job done as being accurate to his appearance in the film. And the same can be said for his back, also featuring different little bolts here and there, along with a lot of lining toward the bottom back half of his torso. And then you'll also notice that there are various different little areas outlined in gray. Moving his assault rifle away for just a moment here to get a better look at the legs, you'll notice that the legs do have the fully painted knee pads as well, each featuring their own set of little individual lines that I painted within each knee pad to make it look as accurate as I could get it, and a little bolt on the bottom of each knee pad. So pretty awesome, and I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. And you'll also notice that he does have a little strap here, which starts on the top half of his left leg and then continues all the way along to the side of it. And you'll notice on it there is a knife holster, which is pretty awesome. Though it's not three-dimensional, it can't actually hold a knife holster. It wouldn't work even if I did make a three-dimensional knife holster, because then he wouldn't be able to move his arm here, and that wouldn't be worth it. Therefore, I decided to paint it on, even though it is still pretty detailed. One last element to the Winter Soldier would be his alternative head that I painted for him. Just like Steve Rogers, he gets his own alternative facial expression. It's not even a facial expression, it's an entirely different head. But you'll notice that it does have, it's pretty much the exact same head, but in the movie, he pretty much, while wearing his mask, straps on a pair of goggles at some point. Don't know when, but when he does, it looks pretty awesome, and therefore I wanted to make the exact same head that you already saw, but with the implementation of the goggles, and they're definitely pretty awesome, and with some little dots right here on the very top of it, down to the little white streaks that I added on the lenses to make it look that much better. It's a pretty awesome head, and like I said, and I didn't say it yet, but something that's really core about making lenses and, you know, goggles and glasses and things like that for LEGO minifigures is when you add these white streaks, it makes all the better, as it just added so much. I put it on the Winter Soldier and I was like, oh my god, and then I put it on the Falcon and I was like, oh my god. So these little white streaks are just amazing, and just something I wanted to point out because it's a little tip when making making custom minifigures. Anyway, Bucky Barnes is back, just like in the comics, and in the most dark way possible, and it's really sad, but really awesome, and that's why I'm looking forward to it, because him being in the movie, it just makes the plot amazing, and I really can't wait to see how it plays out. But yeah, there's my custom Winter Soldier. For our third figure out of the four, we've got Black Widow in her slightly updated suit from the Avengers. Really not a huge difference, but it's certainly noticeable if you're fully painting the suit like I have here. And easily the most noticeable factor about her new updated look is her hairstyle, and how it is a lot more accurate to the comics, and therefore probably makes it my favorite hairstyle that we've seen her use thus far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And here I use a hairpiece from the collectible minifigures series, I don't care, that ended up turning out to look really as close as you're going to get to her new hairstyle in the film, and I'm really happy that I was able to use this hairpiece and paint it the way I have, not only with the red color as accurate to her appearance, but also with various different highlights that you can barely even notice running throughout the hairpiece that I did additionally paint on there. And then her head, just like the rest of the figures in this showcase, she has a fully painted head, and you can see the original color that the hairpiece was before I painted it under there. But yeah, the head is fully painted just like the rest, and I'm definitely really happy with this. As I bump the figure there, you'll notice that it's really reminiscent of that of Scarlett Johansson. I'm actually really happy with it. I honestly, out of all of these, aside from Captain America himself and the Falcon, I mean, well, that's pretty much almost all the figures, but I'm just really happy with the way all of these heads turned out, especially Black Widow, as I think it looks just like Scarlett Johansson. You'll notice that the torso is actually an area-like curved torso, and if you look closely right about there, I'll stop it there, you can see the torso is actually curved to look, to give it a more female touch, and that is something that area-like does. He actually manufactures his own curved torsos, and he has for years. And yeah, you'll notice that on the torso she has various different details, such as the exposed skin here, a zipper there, different shades of gray and gunmetal and silver in different areas, various different various different buckles, and it's definitely pretty awesome, as is the back of her torso. It doesn't have a whole lot, as you can see. It's just a continuation of the strap that you already see here, and that strap does actually wrap all the way around from the front of her torso all the way past the side and around again, and I definitely think that turned out pretty awesome, and it just, adds a little bit more depth to the figure overall. She does have her signature pair of wrist tasers that we always see her use, or at least they're kind of underused in the other films, but hopefully they won't be in this movie, as they're pretty awesome, and you can see they're actually three-dimensional on my minifigure, just like the Winter Soldier's straps on his torso. These are three-dimensional, therefore they do pop out a little bit, and they're pretty much just silver, or actually gunmetal straps that pretty much just have lining running all over them, and that's really all they are, but they really do serve their purpose as looking like Black Widow's wrist tasers, and they're definitely really awesome, and I'm really happy with the way they turned out as well. It took me a while to find the right pistols for Black Widow, but eventually I settled on these. They're from Minifig Cat. I don't know their actual name, but I'm really happy with these pistols, and I think they're honestly the best pistols that you're going to get your hands on for a Black Widow minifigure, and that's why I decided to use them for my portrayal of the character in LEGO, and I think they're definitely a good choice, as they look great for the minifigure. And another minor detail on her arms is she does have a shield symbol in white, while Captain America has one in blue. Both are decaled, and both are the only two things that I decaled out of all four of these minifigures. Getting a better look at her legs, you'll notice that she does have a pair of knee pads, which are not three-dimensional, but are fully painted on. And I mean, in the movie, they're really not even knee pads. They're more of just like little indents that look like knee pads that you'll only notice if you really zoom in on her knees, like I did when making the minifigure using the reference pictures that were available to me. And I still wanted to add them on, though, because I knew they would add a nice level of detail, and the legs would probably look pretty blank without them, even if I did just have these straps with the buckles. And speaking of these straps with the buckles are actually pretty complex, featuring a lot of different lines and a lot of different little details just within them alone, and they are pretty awesome overall. But I think that about concludes it for Black Widow. In my first time making a custom Black Widow, and while it was something that was rather simple in comparison to a lot of the things I do, it was still pretty fun to make Black Widow, especially doing the wrist tasers. They were pretty cool, and yeah, so Black Widow's going to be in this movie. She's going to be a huge role in this movie, and I'm really looking forward to see how that plays out and how her relationship grows with Steve Rogers through all of the madness that they apparently are going to endure in this movie. I can't even fit this bastard onto the frickin' frame, but Here he is, the Falcon, Sam Wilson, the Avenger we all know from the comic books that is now in the film as, you know, a realized version of the character, which has these mechanical wings. That pissed me off because I was like, walking into this, I'm just like, well, I have no way that I'm going to make those wings, and therefore the Falcon's not going to make it to the showcase video just prior to the film's launch. But here we are. And here's the Falcon. I somehow did it, and he exists. He is now a thing, and I don't know how, but I did it, and this is the Falcon with these mechanical wings that I made out of action figure plastic. If you guys have ever bought an action figure in your life, you have this plastic. I mean, or unless you threw it away, the packaging anyway. This plastic is literally, you can get it on just about any action figure packaging, and that's where I got this from. And it's honestly, I wasn't gonna make the wings transparent until I found out they were transparent, and I'm definitely glad that I did make them out of plastic. Plastic is much more sturdy, and the fact that they're transparent just really adds a lot to the wings, not to mention the heavy amount of paintwork that I made doing this minifigure, at least his wings. The wings required a lot of paintwork, and I couldn't fit on all the details that are taking place on Falcon's wings in the movie. There's just too much going on with the way the mechanical wings work and all their details. These things here, like these little like fork type things that you see on either side, there are actually, I think, about 5 of these, but I could only fit on 3, you know, little things like that, but I still try to keep them as symmetrical as I could get them. I love the little detail right here on these shoulders. That's probably like one of my favorite parts. All the little, you know, individual little dots really make up for a lot of detail on the wings there. You'll notice that he does have a Spartan's jetpack from Halo Reach, and it's something that is from Brick Affliction. Now, Brick Affliction doesn't sell these anymore, even though he does have a really badass site, brickaffliction.com, by the way. He doesn't sell these anymore. He sold these about 2 years ago with his buddy Pedro, and I mean, you can't really get these anymore, but while making Falcon, I realized, oh my god, Falcon is freaking Noble 6. He's got the same jetpack, and it's not the same, but it's really similar, and therefore I decided to use this to my advantage and paint this up with similar details that we see Falcon having on his jetpack in the film. I really tried to cram in as many little different mechanical-like details that I could right in this area primarily, along with little dots on the back of each of those little fork things that I pointed out on the front. But I mean, these wings, they are flexible, given that this is just some normal action figure plastic. You can bend these wings quite a bit, actually, but I'm just really happy with the way they turned out. And if you can't already tell how they stick in, you pretty much just have, they're thin enough to fit underneath one of these neck braces, and then pretty much the jetpack, which does have a little hole for a stud on the back of it, just clip right onto the stud. Falcon's wings are now a thing. I freaking did it, and hopefully you guys appreciate them, as I spent a lot of time on them, and a lot of paintwork went into these. I'm talking a lot of paintwork. So now we can talk about the rest of the figure. Now you'll notice right off the bat, he does have his 2 signature pairs of mini Uzis, which are by Brick Arms, Mr. Chapman. Amazing design, and I mean, he uses these same Uzis in the film, so what else would you expect? They're awesome, and they really do serve the purpose. The shoulders, what are they? They're actually tiny tactical shoulder pieces, or knee pieces, knee pads. They're tiny tactical knee pads that should have gone down here, but they're actually the exact same shape as Falcon's shoulders, so I'm like, hey, there's an opportunity that I'm not going to skip out on. Therefore, with a lot of layers of paint, I made them look less like knee pads and more like shoulders, and then I glued them on. And you'll also notice right here, he does actually have little cuffs on his sleeves. Couldn't find that word, but on his sleeves there, you'll notice that he does actually have the little cuffs. Just like, I didn't really use them on a figure recently, but these little cuffs, I use them on my Grand Theft Auto figures a lot. They're these little 3-dimensional cuffs. So just like Black Widow's tasers and the Winter Soldier's straps, they are 3-dimensional, and therefore they do pop out a little bit, even though they do have a little black line painted on each one. But yeah, and the other accessories he does have are the glove tops, the same exact glove tops that we already saw on Captain America, and but this time they are unpainted and just left black. Other than that, though, those are pretty much all the accessories that Falcon does have. Now, his head was painted to resemble that of Anthony Mackie's appearance in the film to the best of my ability, and Clearly, though, he is wearing goggles, and he's the only minifigure. Well, him and Black Widow do not have alternative facial expressions, but they are still pretty awesome, because I'm really happy with the way Falcon's head turned out. You'll notice that he does have these pair of goggles, which do have red lenses, and just like the Winter Soldier, like I said, they do have the white streaks running on the top of them, and honestly, without those white streaks, it looks a lot less appealing, so it's amazing what little white streaks can do. It's just fantastic, but he does have his mustache there, his little goatee. His goatee I actually added last minute because I didn't even know he had a goatee until I found a reference picture and I was like, oh crap, I gotta paint that on. I didn't even notice it because usually in photos he's tilted down like this, so you really can't see the goatee, but I'm glad I did paint it on as it is accurate to his appearance in the film, and there are various different little details on his goggles there, and his goggles do actually continue all the way around the back of his head. But yeah, his torso has a lot of detail. The torso is where a lot of the details going on in terms of this minifigure, aside from the wings. And you'll notice that there are various different little buckles and little straps and a lot of different little things that I added on here. A little white symbol here, which is accurate. He has a similar zipper to Black Widow, but my favorite detail on here would have to be these little dots. If you look right there, right there toward the like the middle point of these straps on his sides there are these little black sections that each have 3 microscopic little dots, and I'm really happy that I was able to really plant those on in a nice and even fashion, and they look great. The Falcon's legs have a lot going on, and when I say a lot going on, I mean a lot of camo, and the camo is actually 2 shades of gray. Though it might look like just 1 shade of gray being used here, it's actually 2 shades of gray, but I mean if you count the light bluish, or the light gray color underneath the dark gray, then I guess you can count it as 3 shades of gray, but 2 shades of gray were used here for the camo, and that flag though, I mean there's a freaking flag. I actually was going to decal that on, but then having all this painted camo and these painted knee pads and these painted straps and then slapping a decal right there really stood out and looked horrible, and therefore I didn't glue it on, and instead I painted on the flag, and I'm really glad I did because it looks phenomenal, and is honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's actually my favorite little detail that I added to Falcon would be that American flag. And yeah, you'll notice he does have his knee pads here, each having a set of 4 little bolts and camo continuing onto them. And the camouflage does actually continue on the sides of his legs as well. I just wanted to point that out so that it wasn't forgotten. But I mean, other than that, that's pretty much it for Sam Wilson, aka the newly introduced Falcon, iconic character, and he's been portrayed in such an amazing way, and the casting is perfect for him, as it's Anthony Mackie as the Falcon. It's fantastic, and I wanted to save this figure for the last. But other than that, guys, that's it for this showcase video. These are my 4 Captain America the Winter Soldier minifigures, and I hope you enjoyed it. And next big showcase video will be for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, so look out for 4 pretty awesome minifigures just like these, maybe even better, as I've already been working on them long and hard as well. So yeah, guys, Captain America the Winter Soldier tonight at 8:30. Looking forward to it, and let's conclude this showcase video.
It's your friend Bucky.
No, it's okay. I'm starting to remember things.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I remember everything now. Listen, I just want to...
Do you think he's really dead? I don't know. Falcon kick. Yeah, he's dead.
Falcon kick?
Yeah, because who needs punches, you know?
Hey, I'm still alive. Alright guys, and there you have it, my showcase video on my custom LEGO Captain America the Winter Soldier minifigures, and yeah, so I mean if you enjoyed the showcase video or found yourself inspired to make your own Winter Soldier minifigures, then be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below and or your opinion in the comment section, as either of the two really do mean a lot and can definitely go a long way, given that I've been working on these minifigures since November, and that right there should probably already say that I unfortunately cannot sell these minifigures, as it's unrealistic because I'm only one person with 2 hands, and therefore I can't just sit down and perform 4.5 months of on and off work on 4 minifigures, because it's just unrealistic, and I really do apologize for that, guys, but unfortunately that is the case. But you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Links to both of those are also in the description below, and there I post all kinds of behind the scenes photos and updates of what I'm up to and what I've been working on for my channel. And I mean, if you were already following them, you would have already seen these minifigures, as I already debuted them on those social network platforms on Monday, today, so it's definitely worth it if you want to check them out. Links to those are also in the description below, like I said. And yeah, so I mean, Captain America the Winter Soldier is said to really change a lot for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and apparently this entire series of films is just not going to feel the same. A lot of really critical things happen in this film, apparently, from what everyone has been telling me, and unfortunately 2 of the major plot points have already been spoiled for me, so it kinda sucks. But I mean, I'm still going to go into the film trying to forget those things, as they're not going to ruin it for me, as honestly I still enjoy being able to see any Marvel film that isn't Iron Man 3. And I mean, for the most part though, that's it for this showcase video, guys. I'm going to go see the Captain America the Winter Soldier film at the premiere for 8:30, and I'm probably already at the theater by the time this video goes up, and hopefully you are too, because this film is definitely worth waiting in line for at the premiere, and that's why I wanted to make these minifigures, to celebrate the film, and hopefully I accomplish that. And yeah, guys, that's it, and I'll see you later. And next big showcase will be for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so I'm going to get working on those to make sure they're done for their respective release date, and hopefully you'll look forward to those too, as much as I am. Alright guys, I'll see you later.
Bye!
Just not leave any comments or leave with oh, this is a lot harder than you guys might think. What happened to your skin? Don't want to talk about it. Steve Rogers, the Winter Soldier himself, no, your showcase video. And for this video, why do I sound like I'm voice cracking and I'm not? So, I want to quit acting in a few years, and I mean, you do take over for me in the comics. Yeah, and today I'm gonna be doing my really, just focus. Have his signature, yes, he has his signature face. We all have a signature face. Yeah, it's great. Release of Captain America the Winter Soldier, which is that thing.